As a prostate doctor, I warn seniors this habit enlarges your prostate. If you're over 60, there's something I'd like you to know. Certain everyday habits, the ones you hardly notice, can quietly make your urinary symptoms worse and encourage your prostate to grow. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's not your fault. I've seen it in countless patients, and the surprising thing is how simple the solutions can be. In this video, we'll go through 10 small but important changes that can ease pressure, improve your comfort, and help protect your prostate as you age. I'll explain the early signs to watch for, why they happen, and what you can safely do about them. And if you stay with me until the end, you'll hear the one change most men overlook yet often wish they had made years earlier. So let's start by understanding why the prostate changes so much with age, because once you see the bigger picture, every step you take will make more sense. The prostate is a small gland, about the size of a walnut, sitting just below your bladder and wrapped around the tube that carries urine out of your body. Its main job is to produce fluid that supports sperm. But as men get older, it starts to change in ways that can affect daily comfort. One of the biggest changes comes from hormones. After the age of 50, testosterone levels slowly decline, but another hormone called dihydrotestosterone, or DHT, tends to build up inside the prostate. Think of DHT as a fertilizer for prostate cells over time. It encourages the gland to grow, even when it's no longer needed for reproduction. There are other factors at play too. Blood flow to the pelvic area naturally slows with age, and the tissues become more prone to inflammation. Years of small irritations from diet, activity level, or medical conditions can cause the gland to stiffen and swell. Chronic low-grade inflammation is especially common, and research from the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases shows it can contribute to benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, in over half of men past 60. The good news is that while aging is unavoidable, much of this growth is influenced by daily habits. By improving circulation, reducing inflammation, and easing pressure on the gland, you can help your prostate stay healthier and more comfortable for years to come. And now that we understand why the prostate tends to enlarge with age, let's look at the everyday habits that can quietly speed up that process and, more importantly, how to change them. Habit number 10. Drinking too little water. One of the simplest yet most overlooked habits that can affect your prostate is not drinking enough water throughout the day. Your bladder and prostate work closely together, and when your body doesn't get enough fluid, the urine becomes more concentrated. This concentrated urine can irritate the delicate lining of the bladder and, over time, increase sensitivity in the prostate as well. You might notice symptoms like needing to urinate more often, a burning sensation, darker colored urine, or waking up more frequently at night to empty your bladder. Think of your bladder like a fish tank if you don't add enough fresh water. Waste particles and minerals build up, making the environment less healthy. In your body, that waste can irritate tissues, encourage inflammation, and create the perfect setting for bladder infections, kidney stones, or ongoing prostate irritation. The National Institute on Aging notes that staying well hydrated can help dilute urine, reduce bladder irritation, and support better urinary function in older adults. The solution is gentle and manageable. Aim to drink about 1 glass, roughly 8 ounces, every 2 to 3 hours during the day, adjusting for your activity level and health needs. Your goal is for your urine to be a light yellow color, which signals healthy hydration, for 1 week. Track how often you wake at night and note any changes in urine color. Small adjustments can lead to noticeable improvements. Staying hydrated is one of the easiest ways to ease pressure on your urinary system, protect your prostate, and feel more comfortable day and night. And now, let's look at the next habit that could be putting quiet strain on your prostate without you realizing it. Habit number 9. Sitting for too long. Spending long periods sitting may feel restful, but for your pelvic area, it can quietly create a chain of problems. When you stay seated for hours, blood flow to your lower body slows, and the muscles that support your bladder and prostate become less active. Over time, this can make it harder to start urinating, leave you with a feeling of incomplete emptying, or cause a dull ache in the pelvic region. These changes happen gradually, So many men don't realize the connection until symptoms have already become part of daily life. Your pelvis is like a busy city when traffic stops. Congestion builds up and causes trouble. In this case, the traffic is your blood and lymph flow, which help carry nutrients in and flush waste out. When circulation is poor, it can lead to pooling of blood in the pelvic veins, low-level inflammation, and gradual weakening of the pelvic floor muscles. Harvard Health research notes that prolonged sitting is linked to increased lower urinary tract symptoms in older men. Partly due to these circulation and muscle changes, the fix is refreshingly simple. Stand up and move for 2 to 3 minutes every 30 minutes you are seated, and add 10 to 15 minutes of outdoor walking to your daily routine. Even light activity can help stimulate blood flow, reduce pelvic congestion, and keep the supporting muscles active. Try counting how many times you take these standing breaks each day, and aim to gradually increase that number. Small, regular movements act like opening up the roads in your busy city, keeping everything in your pelvic area healthier and more responsive. Now that we've tackled movement, let's move on to another everyday habit that may be quietly aggravating your urinary system. Habit number 8, consuming too much caffeine. For many people, that morning cup of coffee is a comforting ritual, but when caffeine intake creeps too high, it can quietly put extra strain on your bladder and prostate. Caffeine is a natural stimulant that not only wakes up your mind but also increases the activity of your bladder muscles. This can lead to more frequent urges, sudden leaks, and waking multiple times at night to urinate. Over time, the constant stimulation can make urinary symptoms more noticeable and more disruptive. Caffeine is like a coach that keeps yelling at your bladder to run laps all day and all night. The more it pushes, the more the bladder contracts. Sometimes before it's truly full, this can leave small amounts of urine behind, which may irritate the bladder lining and contribute to inflammation. Research from the American Urological Association has linked high caffeine intake to worsening lower urinary tract symptoms in men with enlarged prostates, making moderation an important part of symptom management. You don't have to give up coffee entirely. Try limiting yourself to 1 cup in the morning, ideally under 200 milligrams of caffeine a day, and replace your second cup with herbal tea or decaffeinated coffee. Over the next week, keep a simple log of how many times you wake during the night and see if the number drops as you cut back. Even small reductions in caffeine can give your bladder and prostate a break, helping you feel more in control. From here, let's look at another common dietary choice that may be quietly fueling irritation and inflammation in your urinary system. Habit number 7, eating too many spicy and processed foods. While the occasional spicy meal or convenient packaged snack might seem harmless, eating them too often can quietly irritate your bladder and prostate. Spicy foods can increase the sensation of burning or urgency when you urinate, while processed foods often contain high amounts of salt, preservatives, and unhealthy fats that promote inflammation throughout the body. Over time, this ongoing irritation can make urinary symptoms more frequent and more uncomfortable. Processed foods are like adding fuel to a smoldering fire. They keep the inflammation burning. Inflammation in the urinary tract doesn't just cause short-term discomfort, it can also disrupt hormone balance and contribute to low-level swelling of the prostate. The World Journal of Urology has reported that diets high in processed and heavily seasoned foods are linked to chronic inflammation and worse lower urinary tract symptoms, particularly in older men. A more supportive approach is to limit processed and spicy meals to no more than 2 per week and replace them with fresh, colorful foods rich in antioxidants, adding just 1 or 2 servings of vegetables or fruits like berries. Spinach or bell peppers each day can help cool inflammation and support healthy tissue. Keep a simple food and symptom journal for a week to notice patterns between what you eat and how your bladder feels. These small, consistent changes can reduce irritation, improve comfort, and protect your prostate over time. Next, we'll talk about a surprisingly common habit that puts direct mechanical stress on your bladder and prostate. Habit number 6. Frequently delaying urination. Many men see holding in urine as harmless, especially when they are busy, driving, or simply want to avoid public restrooms. But making this a regular habit can quietly strain your bladder and prostate. When you wait too long, the bladder fills beyond its normal capacity, making it harder to start urinating and leaving you with a constant feeling of fullness. This extra pressure can become even more noticeable as we age, when tissues are less elastic and more sensitive. Holding urine is like overinflating a balloon. It weakens the structure and puts pressure on the valve below. In the body, that valve is your urethra, surrounded by the prostate. Over time, this repeated stretching can lead to urine retention, increase the risk of urinary tract infections, and contribute to the gradual enlargement of the prostate. The Mayo Clinic notes that long-term urine holding can create bladder outlet obstruction, which forces the bladder muscle to work harder and can weaken it in the long run. The best approach is to respond to your body's signals as soon as you feel the need to go. If you tend to forget, set a gentle reminder every 3 to 4 hours during the day. Over the next week, pay attention to whether your episodes of urgent or uncomfortable urination decrease when you stop delaying. This small change not only eases immediate discomfort, but also helps protect your urinary system from unnecessary strain. Now, let's move on to another habit that directly harms pelvic health in ways many people underestimate. Habit number 5, smoking or breathing in secondhand smoke. Smoking is often linked to lung and heart disease, but its effects on the bladder and prostate are just as concerning. The chemicals in tobacco smoke travel through the bloodstream and can irritate the delicate tissues of the urinary tract. Over time, this irritation may show up as burning during urination, more frequent trips to the bathroom, or a general feeling of fatigue that makes managing other health habits harder. Secondhand smoke can have similar effects, especially with repeated exposure in enclosed spaces. Tobacco smoke is like acid rain. It slowly erodes the tissues and weakens their defenses in the prostate. This can mean chronic inflammation, reduced blood flow, and over the long term, an increased risk of serious conditions like prostate cancer. Research published in Prostate Cancer and Prostatic Diseases in 2018 highlights the link between smoking and faster progression of prostate-related problems, including the worsening of urinary symptoms. Poor circulation caused by smoking can also make it harder for the body to heal from inflammation and infection. The most effective step you can take is to limit or completely avoid exposure to tobacco smoke, if you smoke. Consider nicotine patches or gum under the guidance of a healthcare provider to make quitting more manageable. Track the number of days each week you go without smoking or inhaling secondhand smoke, and note any changes in your urinary comfort over time. Reducing this exposure not only supports your prostate, but also improves your overall energy and resilience. Now, let's talk about another risk, one that comes from skipping important medical check-ins. Habit number 4. Avoiding regular checkups. One of the challenges with prostate problems is that they often develop quietly, without obvious symptoms in the early stages. Many men feel fine and assume everything is normal, only to discover an issue when it has already become more advanced. Skipping regular checkups means missing the chance to detect changes early, when they are often easier to treat and less likely to cause lasting damage. Skipping checkups is like driving without a dashboard. You can't see a problem until it's too late. For the prostate, that can mean late detection of prostate cancer, chronic prostatitis, or significant benign prostatic hyperplasia (BPH), according to the American Cancer Society. Regular screening with a prostate-specific antigen PSA blood test and a digital rectal exam (DRE) can help identify potential problems before symptoms appear, greatly improving the chances of successful treatment. A proactive step is to schedule a prostate checkup at least once a year, even if you feel well. Keep a record of your appointment dates and test results so you and your doctor can track changes over time. This habit not only protects your prostate health, but also gives you peace of mind, knowing you are taking control of your well-being. With early detection, small issues can often be managed with simple lifestyle adjustments, preventing more serious problems down the road. Next, we'll look at a dietary habit that can quietly add pressure to your prostate and worsen urinary symptoms. Habit number 3. Eating too much red meat. While red meat can be a good source of protein and iron, eating it too often can quietly add strain to your digestive and urinary systems. Diets high in red meat, Especially processed cuts like bacon or sausages are often low in fiber, which can slow digestion and lead to bloating, constipation, and a feeling of heaviness in the pelvic area. These effects can increase nighttime urination and make existing prostate symptoms more noticeable. High red meat is like adding thick oil to an engine. It slows everything down and builds pressure in the body. This can mean slower bowel movements, increased inflammation, and changes in hormone balance that may contribute to prostate enlargement. Research published in the International Journal of Cancer in 2017 found that frequent consumption of red and processed meats was associated with greater inflammation and a higher risk of prostate problems. You don't need to remove red meat completely, but try limiting it to no more than 2 meals per week on other days. Swap in fish, skinless poultry, or plant-based proteins like beans and lentils to give your body a break from heavy digestion. Keep a simple food diary and track how often you wake at night to urinate, noting any improvement when you reduce red meat. These small adjustments can help ease pelvic pressure, support better digestion, and create a healthier environment for your prostate. In the next section, we'll talk about how carrying extra belly fat can silently influence your prostate health. Habit number 2. Excess belly fat. Carrying extra weight around the midsection does more than change your appearance. It can have a real impact on your prostate health. Belly fat, especially the deeper visceral fat, is metabolically active, meaning it constantly releases chemicals that promote inflammation throughout the body. This low-grade inflammation can worsen urinary symptoms such as waking 2 or more times at night, a weaker urine stream, and general fatigue that makes staying active harder. Belly fat is like a factory that never sleeps. It keeps pumping out inflammatory chemicals day and night. These chemicals can reduce testosterone levels, which play an important role in prostate health, while the physical bulk of belly fat can also press directly against the bladder, increasing the feeling of urgency. Research published in the Journal of Urology in 2019 found a clear link between abdominal obesity and both the severity of lower urinary tract symptoms and the risk of benign prostatic hyperplasia in men. The good news is that even modest changes can make a difference. Adding just 15 minutes of brisk walking each day can help burn visceral fat and improve circulation to the pelvic area. Pair this with reducing refined carbohydrates, such as white bread and sugary snacks, to lower calorie intake and stabilize blood sugar. Over the next week, measure your waist and track how often you wake at night. Small improvements in both can be a sign your prostate is under less strain. Next, we'll address a habit that affects not just the body but also the mind, and can quietly worsen prostate symptoms over time. Habit number 1, chronic stress. Living with ongoing stress does more than weigh on your mind. It can quietly affect your prostate and urinary health. When stress becomes a daily companion, your body stays in a constant alert mode, releasing hormones like cortisol that disrupt normal bodily rhythms. You may notice more frequent or urgent trips to the bathroom, tension in the pelvic muscles, and difficulty fully relaxing even when you have the chance. Over time, these patterns can make urinary symptoms harder to manage. Stress is like a tight fist around your pelvis. It squeezes blood flow and keeps muscles tense. This constant tension limits circulation to the bladder and prostate, making tissues more vulnerable to inflammation. Chronic stress can also throw off hormone balance, weaken the immune system, and worsen benign prostatic hyperplasia (BPH) symptoms. Research in Psychoneuroendocrinology 2020 shows that persistent stress triggers inflammatory responses and hormonal shifts that can directly affect urinary function in men. Breaking this cycle doesn't require dramatic changes. Start with 5 minutes of deep breathing in the morning and evening to calm the nervous system, and set aside at least 10 minutes for a relaxing activity you enjoy reading, listening to music, or sitting outside in nature. Each day, rate your stress on a scale from 1 to 10, and notice how your urinary comfort changes as your stress level drops. Reducing stress is not just about feeling calmer, it's about giving your body the space it needs to restore balance, protect your prostate, and help you feel more in control. We've covered 10 everyday habits that can quietly affect your prostate health: drinking too little water, sitting for long periods, consuming too much caffeine, eating too many spicy and processed foods, delaying urination, smoking or breathing secondhand smoke, skipping regular checkups, eating too much red meat, carrying excess belly fat, and living with chronic stress. Each of these may seem small on its own, but together they can put significant pressure on your bladder and prostate, increase inflammation, and make urinary symptoms harder to manage. The encouraging part is that each one can be improved with simple, practical changes, leading to better comfort, fewer nighttime bathroom trips, and a healthier prostate as you age. You don't need to change everything at once. Pick one change this week, track your results, and share your progress in the comments. Small steps, better nights, healthier prostate. Over time, these small choices add up, creating a noticeable difference in how you feel and how well your body functions. If you found this guide helpful, I invite you to subscribe for more health tips designed specifically for men over 50. Together, we can stay informed, make smarter choices, and keep moving toward a healthier, more active future. Your health is worth the care, and every step you take now can make the years ahead stronger and more comfortable.